I still didn't know enough about Graham's work to answer questions about it. I needed to find out more information if I wanted to avoid getting caught out. Amethyst or purple glass? Either way, it looked expensive. A uniform like the one Graham's wife wore. It was cut for someone much larger. I needed to find out who he worked for. If I slipped up, I'd be exposed right away. It looked like one of the land trains from the city walls. It was a detailed model. A chart showing that Graham's kudos score had recently dropped. The council was made up of 5 ministries. Each ministry had their own logo and distinctive color scheme. From the color of his uniform, it was clear that Graham worked for the Ministry of Comfort. I had learned all I was going to from Graham's apartment. I hoped it would be enough.
Excuse me, please.
Hello, Chipworth.
Good afternoon, sir.
Tell me about the mentor.
As a high-ranking official of the Ministry of Well-being, he is here, I am sure, to evaluate the well-being of this household.
Goodbye, Chipworth.
Have a very special day, sir.
If I was going to convince the mentor, I had to be sure I knew enough about Graham. I couldn't keep them waiting any longer. From that point on, I had to be Graham Grundy, cleaning supervisor.
Darling, I thought you were going to freshen up.
I was, but I missed the sweet sound of your voice.
Oh, Graham, always the romantic. But please don't kiss me until you've showered.
Wouldn't dream of it. Besides, I couldn't let Alfonso here
Alonso?
monopolize my lovely wife for a moment longer.
In which case, shall we begin?
Of course. Shall we take a seat in the lounge? It was now or never.
So, Mr. Grundy.
Mentor Alonso, what would you like to know?
Ah, well, straight to the point. I like that. As I was explaining to your dear wife earlier, there have been some issues with your activity records of late.
Issues? What do you mean?
Mr. Grundy, a word to the wise. This will be much smoother if you leave the questions to me. Now, whilst your records load, remind me, in which ministry are you employed?
Comfort. I'm a cleaning supervisor.
Yes, of course. Here we go. Graham Grundy, 42, cleaning supervisor with the Ministry of Comfort. Cleaning supervisors require Class C exertive activity certification. I trust that your health rating is sufficient.
I did drop down a bit, but I'm back to Class A+ now.
Excellent, excellent. Very good. So, with that in mind, I will mark you as fit for work, barring any other issues. Now, obviously, your kudos level will have fluctuated due to your absence. You're a C+ right now. I note you used to be much higher.
B.
Yes, well, you'll be back up there in no time. Well, that is all I need to check off. But I'd be remiss if I didn't offer you all the extra support and guidance that you need.
Mentor?
When someone goes off-grid, there's usually some underlying trouble. And as a mentor, I like to think of myself as a bit of a troubleshooter.
Of course. I appreciate the concern.
So, let's get to the bottom of all this confusion. Dig a bit deeper, eh?
Deeper? Yes, right. By all means, Mentor.
Tell me about your workplace. I trust there are no issues.
The land train facility. It's a fine place to work.
I'm sure it is. Department of Land Trains and Extra City Commerce. Wonderful.
Oh, yes. Couldn't be happier.
We are, of course, very grateful for your service, Mr. Grundy. But there we come to the crux of the matter. Your absence. 15 days is a long time. This is, of course, why my ministry has become involved in your case. We have been concerned for your well-being.
I'm fine. Better than ever, in fact.
Excellent. Now, speaking of your health, I note you had some surgery last year. Tell me about your implants. Are they working effectively?
You mean my heart regulators? Nothing to worry about. As you can see, the beat goes on.
Yes. Well, I must say you're in remarkable shape considering your medical history. Of course, your mental well-being is just as important to us. How are you getting on with your rather peculiar hobbies?
You mean my photography?
I do, yes.
You can't beat the feeling of an old-time film camera.
I can imagine. You have an eye for composition. Although I don't understand your interest in using such archaic technology, choosing to fiddle with knobs rather than availing of ministry-recommended filters, stabilization, automatic archive, and data retrieval, all courtesy of Minos. If we can't see what you create, how can we share in your interests?
What can I say? I like a challenge.
I'm sure you do, Graham. Well, I have a busy day of appointments, so sadly we must conclude our little chat there.
It's been a pleasure, Mentor.
Hasn't it? So with that in mind, perhaps you can tell me where you've been for the last 2 weeks.
What? Right. Yes, where have I been the last 2 weeks?
Well?
Okay, so the last 2 weeks, I was working at the land train facility, of course. Cleaning. I'm a cleaning supervisor. And while I was cleaning, I must have bumped my head. The next thing I knew, I was in the middle of nowhere, still on the train. 2 weeks later, the train returned to the city. Cleaner than it's ever been, I might add.
My poor darling! How awful! What a dreadful thing to happen!
I believe I have all the answers I need from you.
Well, that's a relief.
I'm sure it is. Mr. Grundy.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
Just a teeny tiny thing before I go. There appears to be one or two anomalous results here.
Anomalous? That doesn't sound good.
It may be nothing. But here's the thing. I get strange readings when I scan your U-chip. Any idea why?
Maybe it got damaged when I fell.
Ah, yes. Of course. That's probably it. You see, the only other time I've seen anything like this is when a U-chip has been tampered with. No one would have done that now, would they?
Tampered with? I didn't even know that you could do that.
Graham's a supervisor, not a subversive mentor.
Yes, a supervisor, not a subversive.
Damaged when he fell. Request analysis. There. Perfect. I have everything I need.
Great. Chipbot will show you out.
Chipworth, darling.
Just my little joke. Chipworth.
Good day, Mr. and Mrs. Grundy.
I don't know who you are or what you've done with Graham, but I think we got away with that.
I hope so. I don't think that we would get away with it a second time.
Nor do I. If there is anything wrong with Graham's U-chip, you would better sort it out sharpish before Alonso's analysis comes back. Who even are you? Where's Graham? Are you that contact he kept ranting about?
Whatever Graham had been up to, it had gotten him killed. I had to come clean with his wife. There's no easy way to say this, but I'm afraid Graham is dead.
What? How? Where?
I found him. In the Gap.
The Gap? What was the idiot doing in the Gap? Was that where he was always sneaking off to? Ugh!
A child, Milo, was abducted from a village out there and brought into Union City. And I think Graham was somehow connected.
Sure, and pigs fly. Listen, stranger. I'm sure you can understand this has been a rather harrowing day. This is all too much for me right now.
Tell me about it.
So, I'm gonna do some damage control on social media. In the meantime, I guess that officially it is your home, so you can stay, but this is my bedroom, and that one is yours. No cute ideas.
Understood. Songbird seemed rattled by the news. Not surprising. But whoever this contact of Graham's was, I suspected they were the key to finding Milo. Hello, Chipworth.
Good afternoon, sir.
What's this about a celebration tonight?
The Aspiration Day Gala. Madam Songbird is so looking forward to it. It has populated approximately 83% of our conversations. In fact, any time someone spoke of it, your heart rate would elevate and you would perspire, sir. Heavily.
Is that why Graham left?
Is Sir referring to himself? Or a friend also named Graham?
Do I have any friends?
None, sir.
Songbird doesn't seem too upset about her husband.
And why would she be? The glorious Master Graham has returned to us.
Sounds like my wife didn't miss me all that much.
I'm confident Madam Songbird's affection was simply kept hidden, on the inside.
I'd like to hear more about Songbird.
May I suggest that Sir speaks with the lady directly? Or perhaps check her social media presence. That's how Madam has traditionally spoken to you.
My wife mentioned I had a contact. Any idea who that could be?
Perhaps you might ask her, sir. I fear I am not able to elaborate any further.
Ah, how are you, Chipworth?
I am well, sir. Thank you for inquiring.
I need you to do something for me.
Just say the word, sir.
Please, can you open the windows, Chipworth?
Very good, sir.
mentor, Alonzo, seemed to be arguing with someone. There was something taped to the air conditioner. The gang had a ferocious beak. I was lucky not to lose a finger. The gang had a ferocious beak. I was lucky not to lose a finger. Here you go. Whatever was in the box, Graham had clearly not wanted anyone to find it. Inside was a small glass lens. It had deep cuts scored across its surface. But that wasn't all. Tucked beneath was a photograph. A picture of a stalker. A child's face pressed against the window. Suddenly I realized that it wasn't just Milo. It was clear that multiple children were being taken into the city, and somehow Graham was connected to it. Keep a smile on your face. I swapped the lens for the broken one from the lockbox. The pictures were all of Graham's wife. The HoloLens now projected fragmented data. The blind blocked out all the light from outside. printer? It was rare to see one of those. I swapped the lens back to the original one.
Excuse me.
Apologies, Citizen Graham. This is not your residence. Water refill complete.
Excuse me.
Ah, Master Grundy. What joy to see Sir again after all this time. The Poet Laureate Reginald Arthur Schnipple, Esquire, sends his regards and/or condolences as appropriate.
How nice of you, Reginald.
Correction, sir. If one may be so bold, Mr. Schnipple is of course Sir's human neighbour. How Sir might mistake yours truly, Tarquin, for our beloved Poet Laureate is beyond imagining.
What do you think about the graffiti?
As an artiste, I find any medium a valid form of expression. Of course, the vandalism does somewhat detract from the piece.
Who are you again?
Tarquin, Fidelis Mark II domestic savant, at your service.
So you're a servant?
Savant, please. I am a highly engineered personal aid.
Do you work in these apartments?
Of course, Master Grundy. Sir and I have been neighbors for 147 days and 11 hours.
I'm Graham Grundy.
Of course, sir.
So we've met before?
Of course, sir.
When's the last time you saw me?
Master Grundy, one is sure one doesn't need to remind Sir that one works with Sir's neighbor.
One would need one to remind one.
Ah, does Sir mean Sir would need one to remind Sir, or one would need Sir to remind one?
One is not sure anymore. You have a real way with words.
Aha, Sir is referring to one's grammatical prowess, no?
Yes.
Sir is too kind. And yet, if only one could translate grammatical prowess into poetic inspiration.
So you like the graffiti?
I said it was a valid form of expression, albeit not on a par with, say, the literary arts. But as art goes, it's not too abhorrent.
Have you heard any reports of missing children?
Why no, Master Graham? If anyone went missing, I'm sure AI Officer Greta would find their U-chips.
What if they were from outside the city?
Well, surely AI Officer Greta would find them by their newly implanted U-chips.
Fair enough. For all his poetry, Tarquin was still a Union City droid. So you like the graffiti?
To be honest, it's slowly becoming rather old hat.
See you later, Tarquin.
Will I?
Huh? It's just a phrase.
Shall we schedule in another meeting?
I don't think that's necessary.
Such ambiguity. A tortured soul. Alas, I am inspired.
Apologies, Citizen Graham. This is not your residence.
The seal had been vandalized. Poor Joey.
Dear me, a terrible situation. Very troubling indeed.
Mentor, given your experience, your input here would be greatly appreciated.
Orana, isn't it? You strike me as a fine young officer of the Ministry of Well-Being. Would you say that's an accurate description?
I'm flattered, sir.
Your record is exemplary, I believe.
I do my best, sir.
I'm sure you do. So please, don't let me down. Fix this mess.
Mess? You mean the girl?
The whole untidy situation.
Yes, sir.
At girl! Keep a smile on your face. After all, it's Aspiration Day, isn't it? The happiest day of the year.
I'll take care of it, sir.
I know you will. By the way, a call to pest control wouldn't go amiss.
Of course, sir.
Meanwhile, I shall isolate this area until this unfortunate incident has been resolved.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your advice.
We're all here to learn from each other. Take care now.
Miss? Pardon me, miss!
Who, me? Hey! You can see forever up here! You know, be free!
Miss, you have to be careful.
Careful or careless? I know which one I want to be!
Why don't you come down, yes? Miss Dijon, is that right? Raquel Dijon.
Yeah! That's... me. I think...
Raquel!
Raquel? Did you say Raquel?
You need to come down.
What? Where am I? Oh no! Help! Help!
Hearing her name had triggered a total change in the girl's behavior. I needed to find a way to get her down before she fell. From that height, the girl wouldn't fare much better than the cat. Hello again.
Good day, Master Grundy.
What should we do about that girl?
We should inform the Ministry of Well-Being.
But the Ministry is already here.
How very efficient! The missive was only sent a moment ago.
Can you think of a way of getting that girl down?
Gravity should do the job soon enough.
That's rather harsh.
Oh, did Sir mean get her down safely?
Can you think of a way of getting that girl down?
Gravity should do the job soon enough.
That's rather harsh.
Oh, did Sir mean get her down safely?
Can you think of a way of getting that girl down?
Gravity should do the job soon enough.
That's rather harsh.
Did Sir mean get her down safely?
So you like the graffiti?
To be honest, it's slowly becoming rather old hat.
Bye for now.
Before you depart, may I use you as a sort of muse?
Depends. Are you writing a romance?
I had something of a tragedy in mind.
I'd rather you didn't. Excuse me,
Sir?
what's going on?
Just a citizen in trouble, all under control.
Anything I can do to help?
No need, sir. All under control.
Really? Why is the monopod locked down?
To keep people happy, sir.
How?
Well, this situation has the potential to be unpleasant. So we keep the situation contained until it can be resolved.
But I'd really like to go somewhere.
A little patience, sir, would be appreciated.
Why is she up there?
I don't know. I'm not sure she does either.
What happened here?
I don't know, but we have to get her down.
How long has she been up there?
I don't know, but we have to get her down.
Is there nothing I can do to help?
Just carry on enjoying Aspiration Day, sir.
But
Best leave this to the professionals, sir.
are you sure I can't help?
Totally sure. Just move along, please, sir.
When will the monopod be unlocked?
When the situation is resolved.
I'll let you get back to work.
Thanks.
Are you okay?
No! I don't know how I got up here!
Raquel! Raquel Dijon! Don't panic! I'm from the Ministry of Wellbeing.
How can we help?
Nothing to see here, sir. I suggest you go back inside and enjoy some screen-based entertainment.
Excuse me? I'd like to make a complaint.
Please, both of you, I'm a welfare officer. I know how to deal with this kind of problem. I just need to check the negotiation protocol.
Well, thank goodness the Ministry is on this. It's all very distracting.
How did you get up there?
I don't know! Please! I'm frightened!
She climbed the outside of the building. Astounding agility, by the way. Most impressive.
I don't remember!
Bravo, miss!
Sit tight. We'll soon have you down.
What's your name?
Her name is Raquel. Now, would you please?
Raquel? Oh, but of course, that makes far more sense. She told me her name was Rat Girl. But it would appear her grotesque moniker signifies little more than a deplorable deficiency of elocutionary attainment. Rat Girl, indeed.
Please, gentlemen, now is not the time.
Anyone got any ideas?
Yes, I do. I have an idea.
Go on.
Never use a simile when a metaphor suggests itself.
What?
I'm in the middle of composing an Aspiration Day poem, but my lexiconic cupboard is bare, so to speak. Hence the requirement for...
Wait, is this idea about your poem?
Well, yes. You asked if anyone had an idea. You were not specific to the context.
Can you see any way down from there?
No!
Okay, we'll see what we can do from here. What are you painting?
Sir, please, you're not helping.
What? I didn't... I don't know!
Her work is rather inspired, don't you think? I do believe art may be her calling.
Please, both of you.
Help me!
Can you see any way down from there?
No!
Okay, we'll see what we can do from here. Anyone got any ideas to help the girl?
I'm still searching through this ministry protocol, but to be honest, we've gone rather off script.
Keep looking. I'll see if I can find a practical solution around here. Don't worry, we'll get you down safely.
Please stop making promises. Who's the welfare officer here?
It was a hand scanner. From that height, the girl wouldn't fare much better than the can.
Water refill complete. Water tank depleted. Commencing refill.
Raquel!
Help! Please!
Can you see any way down from there?
No! And everything's wet now thanks to that robot.
Hold on. We'll work something out. Think you can get on the robot when it passes?
I could try. But what if...
We'll catch you. You can do it.
I rather doubt she can.
Can't you try and be more encouraging?
You have a reasonably good eye for aesthetics.
Thank you?
Now, grab on tight. We'll be right underneath you.
You'll be fine.
Human grip strength is famously reliable. Only in short bursts.
Okay, here goes.
Water tank depleted.
Excuse me.
Sir?
What's going on?
Just a citizen in trouble, all under control.
Are you sure I can't help?
Totally sure. Just move along, please, sir.
I'll let you get back to work.
Thanks.
Commencing refill. Water refill complete. completed. Commencing down.
How do you feel, Raquel? Are you okay?
I don't know.
Well, I'm glad that's all sorted. Shall I call a pod for her?
I've got it from here, thank you. Raquel, what were you even doing up there?
I don't know. I don't really remember anything.
The girl looked glad to be back on solid ground. Excuse me.
Mr. Grundy. Oh, Mr. Grundy.
Mr. Grundy?
Bravo, Mr. Grundy. Your actions in this situation were sublime, albeit unconventional. The local noise levels have already returned to normal, and the building will soon sparkle again.
I'm more concerned about the girl. Is she gonna be okay?
Yes, blah, 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 and all that. Officer, wouldn't you say that Mr. Grundy's actions today warrant a kudos boost,
Of course. Thank you for the suggestion.
Tarquin, miss.
Orana. Orana Newblood.
Yeah, like the guy said. Graham Grundy.
Mr. Grundy?
What is the reflection spa?
What is the... Are you feeling okay, Graham? Everyone this side of the industrial level has heard of reflections.
Oh, you mean that reflection spa. It's been a long day.
Next, you'll be asking me to tell you about this Joey guy.
No, I'm familiar. I'm on the trail of a missing kid called Milo. I think he's somewhere in Union City.
That shouldn't be difficult. Any greeter terminal will be able to find him via U-chip.
No, that won't help. He was brought here from the Gap.
That's not possible.
I assure you.
Where did you say you worked, Mr. Grundy?
That'd be the Ministry of Comfort.
I suggest you concentrate on your work and leave well-being issues to the appropriate ministry.
So, do you work here?
I'm an officer for the Ministry of Well-being.
You often have to talk girls off high ledges?
My first one.
You did a good job.
Thanks.
Raquel, is she always like that?
What do you mean?
Well, I met her earlier, and she seemed like a totally different person.
She's been through a big ordeal. Nothing that a trip to the reflection spa won't sort out.
Will she be in trouble for the graffiti?
Well, no real harm done. The droid will clean it up, eventually. That said, her kudos rating will take a hit.
All because she defaced Joey?
People loved Joey, and what he did for us.
Joey was my friend. We did so much together.
Well, he might be gone, but he's not forgotten. You can find out about our savior at the Museum of New History.
You mentioned I could find out about Joey in a museum?
Yes. The Museum of New History has exhibits about how he transformed the city. I'd recommend it to anyone who wants to learn about him and his legacy.
A museum dedicated to Joey? He'd be proud of that for sure.
Well, it's not all Joey. They have a special exhibit about the previous administration. Old technology, maps, that sort of thing. My advice, though, is to avoid dwelling on the past. Anyway, taking in some culture is good for you. Find it at the piazza if you get the chance.
How is the girl doing?
She'll be fine. This sort of trauma is best handled at the reflection spa.
I guess I should get going.
Yeah, well, thanks for your help.
I suppose I should thank you too.
No problem. You take care.
You too, Mr. Grundy. If you need any well-being support, just ask for me at Agrita Terminal, or Rana New Blood. Come on, Raquel, let's get you to the spa. You'll be feeling better in no time. No need to worry, Raquel. You're safe now. Happy faces all round, right? In fact, this calls for a celebration. It is Aspiration Day after all.
Oh, goodness. Is it?
All day. And you know what would be the best end to a day like this? A trip to the reflection spa. I'll pull a string or two, and we'll get you straight to the front of the line.
Water tank depleted. Commencing refill. Water refill complete.
Got a minute?
Apologies if my loquacious musings disturbed one.
Hello again.
Good day, Master Grundy.
So you like the graffiti?
To be honest, it's slowly becoming rather old hat.
See you soon, Tarquin.
I do hope that I'll also be seeing you. Excuse me, sir.
Water tank depleted.
Pod has been requested. Welcome, Citizen Graham. Where would you like to go?
I needed to find more information on Graham's contact before I could decide where to go next. Sorry, Monopod. I think that I'll stay here.
No problem, Citizen Graham.
Water tank depleted. Commencing refill.
This particular spot seemed popular with the local birds.
Water tank depleted.
I didn't think Songbird would appreciate me rummaging through her things. Jasmine. Songbird, I'm sorry.
For what?
That I pretended to be your husband.
Listen, you did a better job pretending than he ever did.
What do you mean?
Look, stranger. You told me your secret, so I'll tell you mine. Last few years, Graham gave up trying to be anything other than the dullard he really was. If it weren't for the kudos for being married, I'd have dumped him months ago. You're new here, so a word of advice? You want to win in Union City? Learn the rules and play the game.
My name's Foster, by the way. Robert Foster.
Songbird.
Is there anything more you can tell me about Graham?
Not much. He was a loner whose only friends were idiots like him.
Who's this contact you mentioned?
Bad news, as far as my kudos level is concerned.
What do you mean?
Graham was always rambling on about this hacker friend of his. Had a daft name. Leet, I think.
Any idea where I could find Leet?
Probably somewhere up top, with the other degenerates. If I were you, I'd stay away.
Did Leet believe in Graham's conspiracies?
Believe? Pretty sure he's where Graham got him from. Bad influence all round.
What were you saying about kudos?
Were you born yesterday?
Let's just say I'm new here.
Okay, newbie. Here's how it works in Union City. Be a good example, stay happy, and you get kudos.
Which you spend?
Well, kinda, but not really. The higher your kudos level, the lower you are in the city. Simple.
So kudos is bad?
Aren't you listening? Lower. Lower is better.
Looks like Graham was quite the photographer.
Oh, he was dreadful. At first I thought he was an artist. Then I found out he used those ridiculous antique cameras. It took hours to see the finished photographs, and he took forever fussing with the lighting. The only good thing about his photographs is that I'm in most of them.
What do you know about the council?
They run the city. You know, like they always have since Joey left.
Can I speak to them?
Not with Graham's ID, you can't.
You work for the Ministry of Comfort?
sure do. It might not sound prestigious, but without us, the city falls down.
You don't seem the type to settle for a cleaning job.
Cleaning supervisor, thank you very much. And you'll find in Union City, it's not what you do, it's how you do it that counts.
How so?
You know, get the job done, don't get in trouble, keep a smile on your face, the usual.
What's with the Alonso guy?
Guy? I believe you're referring to Mentor Alonso from the Ministry of Well-Being. He's a high-ranking official. And we've just lied straight to his face.
Quite the team, huh?
If he knew what's really going on, I dread to think how far my kudos would plummet.
And what about me?
Arrested, deported, I don't know, but not important.
Is Alonso coming back here?
For both our sakes, I hope not. But I'm not risking it, so don't even think about doing anything stupid.
Nothing stupid? For how long?
Very amusing. Until my kudos is back on track, obviously. But for now, you are Graham.
So you need a higher kudos to get lower?
Of course. That industrial pit up there hovers over me like a storm cloud. And this middle level is simply beneath me.
I think I understand what you mean.
But the lower level, now they are my kind of people. They've got standards that you don't see enough of round here.
How can I raise my kudos level?
With kudos, obviously.
So how do I get more kudos?
Well, isn't that just the question? Like I said, be happy, get points.
But how can you be happy when you've just found out your husband is dead?
You think I'm not sad on the inside? No one's gonna give me a medal for having a dead husband.
But
Let's talk about something else, eh? My points have already dipped way too much today, thanks to you.
what can you tell me about the Minister for Comfort?
The terminal has their details. Look there if you want to know more.
What can you tell me about the Minister for Comfort?
The terminal has their details. Look there if you want to know more.
Could Graham have had anything to do with kidnapping?
For both our sakes, I hope not.
Can I ask you about some missing children?
I'd rather you didn't.
Tell me more about Graham.
Why do you want to know?
I think he might have been involved in something.
What do you mean?
I came to Union City from the Gap because I was investigating a mysterious...
Oh, for Joey's sake, not you too. Blah, blah, conspiracy, blah, blah, giant dog. Graham was the perfect husband until he started getting crazy ideas. Why couldn't he just have an affair like a normal person?
Bye, Songbird.
Yeah, bye.
A Detective Culls. Someone liked their murder mysteries. A collection of toy animals were lined up in little baskets. One was missing. Dave Dingo. Carl Koala. Kevin Kangaroo. There was an empty spot marked Bartleby Bilby. The climate controls looked complicated, except for the big switch marked Windows. The blind blocked out all the light from outside.
Welcome back, Graham. Displaying your health chart now. Thank you for consulting on a regular basis.
Do you have any further advice for me?
Are you aware that falls while walking are one of the biggest causes of injuries in Union City? Remember, no matter how short the journey, a monopod is always safer and more convenient.
Thanks.
You are welcome, Citizen Graham.
What devices do I have installed?
You possess a U-chip personal data implant in the perlicue of your right hand. It is functioning correctly. Your cardiac regulator implants have been marked as removed. Please return them to your nearest medical waste facility. You possess a Schriebman local interneural connection port in the third cervical vertebrae. This hardware predates the Minos system and cannot be accessed at this terminal.
That's probably for the best.
You are welcome, Citizen Graham.
That's all for now.
Keep a smile on your face.
I was a lot healthier than Graham. Tempting, but I'd already had my monthly bath. A uniform like the one Graham's wife wore. It was cut for someone much larger. In Union City, even the teddy bears had screens. This one was broken. I poked at it, but I couldn't get it to turn on. The shelf was loaded with books on management, business theory, and military strategy. A trader came by our village with something like this back when I was a boy. I think he traded it for a table, or at least that's what I had heard. Union City Red. I suspected it was more fruit juice than wine.
Welcome, Citizen Graham. Where would you like to go?
I needed to find more information on Graham's contact before I could decide where to go next. Sorry, Monopod. I think that I'll stay here.
No problem, Citizen Graham.
Apologies, Citizen Graham. This is not your residence.
Hello, Chipworth.
Good afternoon, sir.
Do I know someone called Leet?
I can neither confirm nor deny that, sir.
Why's that?
When Sir was shorter and stouter, it was made very clear that I was not to discuss such information with anyone, not even Sir himself.
Okay. Do you know if I know someone called Leet?
Excellent loophole, sir. Yes, I do know with absolute certainty whether Sir knows someone called Leet.
That's good enough for me. Do you know someone called Leet?
He was never my acquaintance, sir.
Ah, how are you, Chipworth?
I am well, sir. Thank you for inquiring.
I'd like to hear more about Songbird.
May I suggest that Sir speaks with the lady directly? Or perhaps check her social media presence. That's how Madam has traditionally spoken to you.
I need you to do something for me.
Just say the word, sir.
Please, can you water the plants, Chipworth?
Very good, sir.
With no hand scanners, I figured they were intended for droids. The holdall was stained with paint. Someone had spilt paint on the floor.
Apologies, Citizen Graham. This is not your residence.
The picture showed an utterly unfamiliar scene from a bygone era. For a moment, I was off balance. It felt like I was falling towards the building. But then I realized it wasn't real. Just a lifelike sculpture carved into the wall. What a relief.
Apologies, Citizen Graham. This is not your residence.
Excuse me, please. Excuse me, please.
I swapped the lens for the broken one from the lockbox.
Excuse me, please.
I don't know and I don't care.
Excuse me, Songbird?
Hey, stranger.
Are you a collector?
What?
Toys. You have quite the collection.
Oh, yes. The whole set of cuddly kitties. Even the limited edition Mama Bear from 5 years back. Well, I did have the whole set, at least.
Did something happen?
Bartleby went missing, that's what. I asked Graham about it and he denied all knowledge. Then, when I tried to use the Mama Bear tracker to find dear Bartleby, he threw her across the room.
Clumsy.
Clumsy? Those bears were my engagement gift. He hid Bartleby just to spite me.
Graham had taken Songbird's toy Bilby, but I couldn't figure out what he'd have wanted with it. Wherever he'd gone, Graham clearly didn't want to be tracked. What does Bartley Bilby look like?
Bartleby is a bilby. Adorable, long ears. Like a bandicoot and a rabbit all rolled into one. At least he was, before he went missing.
Graham was a conspiracy theorist?
Always was. But before he went missing, he really changed. He became secretive. Used to close the terminal whenever I came into the room.
That's not that strange.
And he started spending a lot of time in the bathroom. And then he just disappeared.
Okay, that's the weird bit. What's a mama bear tracker?
What do you think? It tracks her babies.
Her babies?
The cuddly kiddies. Most toys in Union City are tracker-enabled. Lost toys mean screaming babies. Unless you got a tracker.
Mind if I have a look at the tracker?
Go ahead, though the screen is broken. Squeeze the left ear to turn it on.
Can I ask you about some missing children?
I'd rather you didn't.
Mind if I have a look at the tracker?
Go ahead, though the screen is broken. Squeeze the left ear to turn it on.
Bye, Songbird.
Yeah, bye.
It looked like Graham had taken Bartleby and didn't want it tracked. I had a hunch that he had taken it to Leet, but had no idea why. The device was now on, but with the screen broken, I'd need to find another way to get at the data. I wondered why Graham had taken a children's toy.
Hello there. I'm Mama Bear.
Hi.
Mama Bear looks after all the cuddly kitties. Are you looking for one of my children?
I'm looking for Bartleby Bilby.
Don't worry, child. Look at my tummy to find your missing friend.
Excuse me, please.
I swapped the lens back to the original one. plinth was showing the toy's tracking data. All I needed to do was locate the area code E1594. Find the tracker, find Leet. I had a lead, a map reference, E1594.
Welcome, Citizen Graham.
Graham had put a tracker
Where
there.
would you like to go?
Maybe it was the key to finding his hacker friend Leet. The piazza is the place for me.
It would be my pleasure, Citizen Graham.
Enjoy this little piece of happiness, courtesy of Minos.
Hi.
It's most excellent to see you again, Graham Grundy.
The pleasure is all mine.
How can I be of assistance today?
Do you know where I'd find E1594?
I do not recognize E1594.
I think it's an obsolete city location code.
I see. Would you like to sign up for a course in the history of Union City's geographical referencing?
Thanks, but I don't have the time for that.
Shame. I hear it's enthralling.
So Joey isn't around anymore?
When the city was ready to be ruled democratically, Joey stepped aside to make way for the Council. If you would like to learn more about Joey's role in the rebirth of Union City, why don't you visit the Museum of New History? Is there anything else I can help you with?
Where can I find out about E1594?
Have you tried an old map?
Do you have one?
Of course not. I do not care for legacy data. I'm part of the new, shinier Union City.
Where can I find one of these terminals?
They're everywhere. You can't throw a bilby without hitting a terminal.
Why would I want to throw a bilby?
I know, they're so cute.
Tell me about Union City.
The temperature is a perfect 296 degrees.
296 degrees? In what units?
Kelvin, obviously. What else would it be?
I'm looking for a child named Milo.
Accessing citizen database.
He is not a citizen.
Is he an animal?
No, I told you he's a child.
Because Milo is a very common name for pets.
That fact does not help me.
I can only help you locate citizens.
I'm still very curious about this strange thing you keep mentioning.
As am I, sir. Shall I notify a well-being officer?
No, forget I mentioned it.
Very well. Forgetting you mentioned it has been recorded for training purposes.
I need to find a missing child.
Does it need to be missing?
What?
It's much easier to find a non-missing child.
If he wasn't missing, I wouldn't need to find him, would I?
But if I'd found him, then he wouldn't be missing, would he?
His name is...
Good news. While you were chatting, I checked our records and there are no missing children in Union City.
Can you tell me about this council?
The council was formed as a democratic oversight committee to ensure the happiness and prosperity of Union City. The council is made up of 5 ministries: Ministry of Plenty, Ministry of Comfort, Ministry of Safety, Ministry of Aspiration, Ministry of Well-being. Would you like to know more?
That's enough for now.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Thank you.
Au revoir.
Everything is fine. Please clear the area,
The
citizen.
robot was spitting out the occasional motivational message.
Everything is fine. Please clear the area, citizen.
And you've been keeping up with your daily polls?
You bet. I can't wait to find out about the new Spankles flavor of the month.
Don't forget to vote for the new elected officials.
Whatever. Spankles!
Anyway, I'm pleased to see your well-being in such good shape. Mr. Grundy, I didn't expect to see you again so soon.
Busy day, huh?
I'll say. Raquel is over in the reflection spa as we speak. She'll be back to normal in no time. I thought you'd want to know.
Thanks for looking after her.
No, thank you. You showed some real quick thinking back there. Now, how can I help you?
Does the location E1594 mean anything to you?
Well, E1594? That's just an area code based on the old map system. Totally obsolete. That system hasn't been used for years.
E1594 was an obsolete code. There had to be a way of finding that location. I'm still looking for information on that kid taken from the Gap.
I'm sorry, but like I said, that sort of thing just doesn't happen in Union City.
Well, I'm pretty certain he was brought here in some kind of 4-legged vehicle.
But how exactly do you know this, Mr. Grundy? Listen, I wish I could help, believe me. I've just not heard or seen anything of the sort. But if you find anything, do come and speak to me.
What are you doing here?
As a well-being officer, I like to be around people, promoting well-being for everybody.
Good to get out and about, I guess.
Well, it is Aspiration Day.
Tell me about yourself, Arana.
Me? Oh, not much to tell, really.
Hey, everyone's got a story.
True. Well, I came to Union City 10 years ago.
Where from?
The Gap. But I think you knew that, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I thought... maybe. Do you miss it?
Honestly, I don't remember much about it. And what I do remember? It wasn't exactly luxury.
How is Raquel doing?
Don't worry, she'll be fine.
How is Raquel doing?
Don't worry, she'll be fine.
This is quite the place, isn't it?
The piazza? You make it sound like you've never seen it before.
Oh no, I mean there's a certain something in the air, isn't there?
That's Aspiration Day for you. Just wait for tonight's celebrations.
They'll be amazing. As usual, I'm sure. Is there anything happening around here?
You mean, apart from the Aspiration Gala?
Yes. I don't often come over this way.
Well, as always, there's the greeter terminals for information, and the Museum of New History to brush up on culture, but I don't need to tell you that, of course.
Thanks, Arana.
Have a great Aspiration Day, Mr. Grundy.
Arana seemed to be stationed all over the city. I needed to stay in her good books if I were to maintain my disguise.
Union City wishes all citizens a happy Aspiration Day. Union City wishes all citizens a happy Aspiration Day.